At Castle Rock State Park, there are many areas that look like this one. It's not too far from the end of the parking lot on the trail that leads down to the campgrounds, so marked. Lots of sandstone blown by the wind over the years with pits and interesting formations. Also in this region there is a forested area and various things growing in the forest, including this berry bush. Come to a trail marker that goes up to Castle Rock, where it marks down towards the campground, and you'll get to a place where there is a waterfall. It's about a 50-foot drop. However, being June 2008, there wasn't that much water flowing through the creek. This would be something after a rainstorm that would be interesting to go watch, and also during the wintertime when there's more water. On that same platform that you can view the waterfall, you can also view out to the west, and a little further down the trail you do have an overlook where you can look to the south here at the Monterey Peninsula and along the coastal range through a very forested area. We are, of course, in the high Chaparral, and you'll see a lot of dusty trails and rocky trails as you go along. In June we had a lot of things growing on the side of the trails with flowers. Being as there are slope currents coming up the western side of the hills, you have a lot of turkey vultures who use those currents to soar overhead. Just a few of the ones that I saw. There were quite a few. Another view of some of the hills below this trail. We're fairly high up, obviously. Very rugged terrain. On those occasions when they have wildfires in this area, you can clearly see why they have trouble fighting those fires. Lots of ground flowers in May and June. Just a few of them that we saw. Grasses. And here's a split in the trail. One continues on to the campgrounds. The other goes up the hill to the Ridge Trail, the Emily Smith bird observation area here. In the afternoon there weren't too many birds in this region, but you can see from the trees that in the morning when the birds are most active that there would be a lot of birds and so forth around the area, certainly during the migration periods. And in the same area we can get up to the edge and look over and again see the Monterey Peninsula through the haze in the background there and the hills, probably looking straight across the Santa Cruz area. And we can look back down at our trail that is about a quarter to a half mile away. It takes about 3/4 of a mile to get up to the point where we are climbing up. More wildflowers and a tree. Interesting colors. There's a scenic overlook near Goat Rock. Goes up the hill. Has some interpretive signs that indicate what kinds of plants and animals are in the region. A good view of the hills there. Snakes and lizards and birds and wildflowers and bobcats, coyotes, rabbits, owls, turkey vultures up in the corner there. And a really nice view from the Monterey area in Santa Cruz, across Santa Cruz there along the Coast Range. Probably about 5 or 6 miles to the west of us. Near Goat Rock is this rock cliff, and then another rock nearby with some people sitting up on it. Here's a guy at the top on the ropes for a guy climbing up from the bottom of Goat Rock. It's a very common place to find climbers and people crawling all over the rock. The trail's a little bit rugged here. As you can see, a lot of rocks, and goes up and down, and let's just say it's not a wheelchair route, that's for sure. Sometimes the trail is difficult to discern, except that to one side it goes down and to the other side it goes up. The last thing before we get back into the forest and head down to the parking lot was this scene of some lichen on rocks.